I can't give you anything but love, baby. That's the only thing I've plenty of, baby. Dream a while, scheme a while, we're sure to find happiness. And I guess all those things you've always planned.
9 out of 10 people don't have access to classic screwball comedy, and the Film Society is on a mission to change that. And it starts with exhibiting them in beautiful theaters, live, as they were intended to be seen, like at the historic Camelot Theater here.
Absolutely. Aliece, give us a quick look back through the whole film series.
Well, during our 10-part film series, we've been through a journey, the audience, you and I, and we've talked about the events, the economic, social, and political events in America during the 20s and 30s that led to the advent of the screwball comedy genre of film. It was very different, very revolutionary. We've also talked about the construct of the films, plotting, the character archetypes, and the targets of satire. And we've talked about the fact that how wonderful it is that we have a safe environment to look at these social issues as they are enveloped in laughs and romance and beauty. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite things about the genre is the sexual dynamics, all the double entendre, everything that they're just sneaking past the censors. And this film's got a lot of that.
Oh, those two are hot, hot, hot. It's all about the hoity-toys. And the film critic, Andrew Sarris, once said that screwball comedy is a sex comedy without the sex, and how right he was. We've talked about the elements that led to the advent of screwball comedy, and one of them was the censorship, a severe censorship on all films of the period. So there could be no visual depictions of sex. There could not be references in the dialogue. And so these clever, crafty writers, they had to work their way around to get their points across. And we're the beneficiaries of that because it is indirect, it's oblique, double entendre, innuendo, and it's so subtle and fun.
Right? So when we first had our technical difficulty, I thought, oh no, Barbara Stanwyck, she melted the celluloid. And she did, right?
She's so fantastic.
She's so amazing. Was anyone here for Arthur Lyon's film noir when we screened Double Indemnity? Yeah, that was so much fun to see that on the big screen. But she kind of had a tough life, right? She was like a tough broad.
Very tough, and we've talked about her previously in this film series. She acted across all film genres. She's beloved as a screwball heroine now, and she performed in 8 screwball comedies. Of course, we had The Lady Eve earlier, of which she is amazing. 2 others that come to mind besides today's film are The Mad Miss Manton and Remember the Night. She was so talented. She's one of our most revered actors of all time, but she had the ability to have audiences. We root for her, we want her to succeed, even when she is playing unsavory characters, and that's a gift.
Yeah, truly.
Because, I mean, you think of today's role. She is authentic, she's earthy and attractive, but she's also a schemer. She is opportunistic, and so, but we still want her to, we still root for her.
Oh, I know that face when she that look she gives Miss Bragg, you know, when she's won.
Yeah, she's kind of a con.
So good. So this movie also has a lot of those classic screwball elements. There's, the role reversal. There's a lot of like the cross-class conflict, with the mobsters interacting with these, ivory tower types.
Right. Well, let's take just for a moment and talk about that. We've discussed the construct of the screwball comedy, and it starts as a satire. That's what differentiates it from a romantic comedy. And you are satirizing courtship and marriage and traditional institutions. And at the center of the action is a mismatched couple always. And they're often from different social backgrounds. Here we have, of course, highly educated professor, very articulate, and you have a singer, obviously from the wrong side of the tracks. And you see through the movie the evolution, they change each other for the better. see at the end, he is getting out of his mind. He's getting physical with her, and he's getting physical in the fist fight. And she changes from being drawn to mobsters to actually socializing with the other professors. So it gives us hope as the audience that there can be harmony for people getting together from different social backgrounds.
I love the slang in this movie too. Oh my gosh, it's just spectacular. I wish there was a list of all of that delicious 1940s slang.
Right, the slang had to speak closely to Billy Wilder as the immigrant. He came from Europe. He did not know English well, and he was partnered with Charles Brackett, of course, highly, highly educated. And so I'm sure this spoke to them about how difficult language is, and when you're out of it. The irony is that you have this grammarian, and he is so out of touch with modern language. That's kind of funny. But the plot is put into place by the garbage man, of course, the slangy garbage man, and teaching Potts. He doesn't know anything about what's going on in education. And even though the slang is very dated to us now, is the concept of slang dated? No, that's timeless. Let's think about all the techno jargon that we're assaulted with through social media, Twitter and Instagram, and all the abbreviations and shorthands that we have to deal with and try to figure out all the time. Language is always evolving, it's always changing. And if we don't keep up with it, we're going to be left behind.
Oh yeah, no, all the time. I mean, I can't understand half of the things that Gen Z say. I'm like, oh, it's now I feel old. Thanks. I don't.
Exactly.
No cap. And so this is our third Howard Hawks film, right? So we had Bringing Up Baby and then His Girl Friday. So this is with Howard Hawks, and he was working with Greg Toland, is the cinematographer. Is that right?
Correct.
Have they worked together before?
I'm not sure. I would have to check that. I believe this is definitely their most famous collaboration. Howard Hawks, of course, we've talked about him several times, so I will not cover old territory. But I do want to say that, of course, he was a master of all genres, but especially beloved in screwball comedy, and that his signature is really, you see this thread throughout all his films, and it's that characters in conflict can change each other for the better. And you see that here, and it's very inspiring. He's fantastic. And with Greg Toland, who brought out a new dimension that you don't see in other screwball comedies because of his extraordinary cinematography. He's, of course, best known for Citizen Kane. He received 6 Academy Award nominations, won once, and he had innovations in cinematography particularly with what is called the deep focus, where you have background in focus, mid-range in focus, and also the foreground in focus, all together in one scene. And it allowed filmmakers to have much more in the scene in terms of people and props. And if you think of the scenes where the professors are in the great room and all their desks and books and materials are there, it's Greg Toland's innovation is perception like the human eye, where you're seeing many things in focus. And he also worked with light and shadow. His innovations led to the film noir genre with all their lights and shadows. And he photographed Barbara Stanwyck beautifully.
Yes.
She's never looked more attractive than when he had his camera focused on her.
Oh, wow.
We've had a deep dive into screwball comedy, and we know that the writing, it's what is so different about these movies to today's. And it all goes back to these very strong scripts. They're so witty, they're so funny and clever, and they interweave all kinds of social issues and thought-provoking things that go on. And I'd like to leave you all today with a quote from Steven Spielberg about writing. It's an excerpt from his speech when he was receiving the Irving Thalberg Award. Here's what he said. "Most of my life has been spent in the dark watching movies. Movies have been the literature of my life. The literature of Irving Thalberg's generation was books and plays. They read the great words of the great minds. I think in our romance with technology, we've lost something that we need to reclaim. It's time for us to renew our romance with the written word. I'm as culpable as anyone in having exalted the image at the expense of the word. And when you think of it, ingenious plots, witty dialogue, zany characters, all the great social issues, that's screwball comedy, and that's why we're here.
That's the only thing I've plenty of, baby. Dream a while, scheme a while, we're sure to find happiness. And I guess all those things you've always pined for. Gee, I'd like to see you looking swell, baby. Diamond bracelets Woolworth doesn't sell, baby. Till that lucky day, you know darn well, baby, I can't give you anything but love.